Hi everybody, this is Rachel the Dime Diva, and I'm here today with my first makeup tutorial. So today I'm going to be doing a full beat makeup, my style. So for me, full beat is still relatively simple. Um, and then also we will be doing story time, and I'll be sharing with you guys my 4 keys to navigating a breakup gracefully. Okay. I have a lot of experience with breakups, unfortunately, but almost all of them have been amicable and graceful. And so I will be sharing with you guys my tips to achieve that. So let's start with the makeup application. I'm going to start off with my facial moisturizer. So I always do a moisturizer first before I go in with any makeup or primer. I like the Cetaphil. It has a good, uh, you know, texture, allowing me to layer my makeup on top. For this particular moisturizer, it has an SPF in it. And so I usually avoid right around my eyes just so that we don't have to worry about that stinging when the sunscreen gets in your eyes. And sometimes I'll just go in like this and do a little lymphatic drainage massage for myself, a little self-care time while I'm applying the moisturizer. So typically, after the moisturizer application, I would come through with the Tarte Hydrating Primer. But today I realized that my bottle is empty. So that shows you that this is my everyday primer. I use this frequently. So I will be making a stop at the store within the next few days, or, going online and ordering some more, whatever the case may be, however the wind blows me. But we're totally fine today to go in with the foundation because that's what needs to happen since I don't have the primer. Okay, so for foundation, we are using the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation in medium. So the way that I usually determine the right foundation for me is I go get my makeup done and I let the makeup artist help me. So let the experts assist you. That's my tip. So let's jump in while I apply this foundation. Let's jump into my first concept for navigating a peaceful and graceful breakup. I just want to give a disclaimer. Look at this. It blends really nicely. I just want to give a disclaimer before we jump in here that I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. This advice is general and it applies in relatively less extreme situations. So I'm thankful to never have been in a situation with physical abuse. I've never been with somebody who has a personality disorder, like narcissism, and I'm grateful for that. So this is advice to deal with relationships that did not work out, but I'm not giving advice for people who need to seek professional assistance in a situation where there's physical violence or a personality disorder. So with that disclaimer, I'll jump right in. So tip number 1 for me for navigating a graceful breakup is remembering that there was once love there. So, when you're going through a breakup, for me, I've had 5 serious relationships since high school. And all 5 of them have ended with a breakup. So I am currently single and ready to mingle. And something that I always remember to keep the breakup amicable is that we were once in love with each other. It's not a person that is my enemy. I actually love and loved you. And for me, I still love all of my exes. I still have love for them. And I don't think that you can unlove someone, in my opinion. That's just me. Other people feel differently. Um, Now, I think that it's important to create boundaries, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in my tip number 2. But I will say that, you know, for the first matter of business, let's remember why we got together in the first place. Let's remember that there was a lot of love and affection there. And I hope that helps, to keep the breakup from being too volatile. I would say to being the breaker. So in one relationship, I was broken up with. In the other 4 relationships, I initiated the breakup. So I've been a breaker and I've been a breakee. And I think in both situations, this principle is really helpful because as the person being broken up with, it reminds you like this person did care about me. I'm not going to go back and rewrite history and say that it meant nothing. We did mean something to each other, and it was important to both of us. And in fact, we are never going to forget each other. Anybody that you're in an actual relationship with is never going to forget you, and you're never going to forget them. So let's be real about that. You're an important part of this person's life. And then number 2, if you are the person breaking up with them, it helps you to just have a little bit more decorum and grace for the person. Whatever they did to initiate you needing to break up, you still had love for them and they still had love for you. Okay, so this is the base foundation. So you can see it's a good medium coverage. It is a glowy type of foundation, which I really like. I like to have a little glowiness happening. It gives pretty good coverage. You can see the difference in my eyes. We can see that it's my skin is starting to get a little darker for summer, and so I might need to get another shade darker for summertime, but I think it applied really nicely. So I use the Beauty Blender to apply. This is from LYS, Love Yourself. And I usually wet the Beauty Blender a bit before applying the foundation, just to ensure that it goes on in a smooth and creamy manner. Okay, so I'm gonna let this foundation set a little bit before we move on. And so while I'm setting it, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my Cocoa Shimmer Jelly Stick from Vaseline. And this is what I do like on my chest to give like a nice glowiness in a like scoop neck type of situation or V-neck type of situation. And so while I apply that, I will go on to number 2 of my graceful breakup tips. Number 2 is leave at the first sign of a fundamental incompatibility. Okay, so I think the key thing here is to identify for you what a fundamental incompatibility is. The way that I define it, okay, I want to come closer so you guys can see the glowy nature of this little stick. It's kind of like golden. It's cute. And then I'm going to rub it in and it just creates kind of like a luminous glow on the chest. And it goes with my necklace nicely. It kind of sets it off. I feel like I'm giving a little bit of like Christmas holiday vibes with the green and the glitter and such. But a holiday in springtime. Interesting. It also smells amazing, you guys. It smells really good. I get a lot of compliments on how I smell when I wear this Cocoa Shimmer. Okay, so the number 2 tip, leave at the first sign of a fundamental incompatibility. So for me, some examples of fundamental incompatibilities in my prior relationships have been me wanting to get married and the person didn't want to get married. You really can't move forward in that situation, right? Like you got to break up. Another fundamental incompatibility was me being a quality time person and wanting to spend time with that person in person and them not having the free time to spend with me in person. And so that just wasn't going to be remedied. And so we had to break up. Another fundamental incompatibility for me was a situation where I felt that the person was actually not safe for me to be around. And so that's where I will give you guys the story of why it is so important to leave at the first sign of incompatibility. First, let me go in with the concealer. So this is the Tarte Double Duty Beauty Concealer, and it is in medium tan natural. I've been using this concealer for years and years and years. I use it until it's empty, and I get a new one. This has been my go-to concealer for years. So back to point number 2, leaving at the first sign of incompatibility. All right, so in this situation, about 2 months in to dating this man, I got the sense that we were not on the same page in our communication and level of respect in what was required to communicate non-violently. So in my estimation, I don't do a bunch of arguing and fighting and going back and forth and drama in relationships. I'm a grown woman. That's not how I get down. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. And so we had a disagreement, which will happen, right? It was probably about 2 months in. And he felt that me speaking my piece in a way that was very, in my opinion, respectful and winsome, he felt that that entitled him to what was, in my estimation, go off on me. And I was like, oh, heck no. That's one thing I'm not going to have, is a man going off on me. So I broke it off with him that night. But I think because I broke it off with him so suddenly and did not really give it time to breathe before breaking the relationship off, I was just kind of in a state of shock. He did reach out to me, and we ended up semi-reconciling. So I'll say it this way. We never got back together officially as boyfriend and girlfriend, but we did continue to deal with each other for probably the next year. Okay, so that was my mistake, because I saw that there was a fundamental incompatibility in our communication style, but I still wanted to entertain somebody because I was alone. I was lonely, and I had love for this man. And so unfortunately, that has gone on to be my only breakup in my 5 breakups that was not amicable, because unfortunately the disrespect escalated to the point that I had to tell him one evening that we were hanging out at my house to get out. And I told him, you'll never see me again. And this was in 2023, 2024, I don't know. But he's never seen me again, and will never be able to see me again in person, because I don't believe that I'm safe around him. He never did put hands on me or anything, but the communication level and the blame level was not healthy. And so that's kind of like why I'm so serious about leaving on the first sign of incompatibility, because my other 4 exes, I'm able to have, cordial dealings with. And even my ex-husband, we went through a whole divorce and we're still able to have cordial dealings. And so I believe that we potentially could have maintained cordial dealings had we, had this ex and I gotten done once that first sign happened on month 2. Okay, so my foundation, or my concealer is setting. So I like to let the concealer sit for a few minutes on my face to allow it to kind of like absorb. It makes it less creasy when I go in to blend it and do my powder. And I actually use a separate beauty blender. This one is a Bare Minerals blender. And I use this for foundation, or I use this for concealer, because the concealer is a little bit of a lighter color. I want to maintain that differential between the concealer and the foundation. So while I'm waiting on my concealer to set a little bit, let's go ahead and brush up the eyebrows a bit while I talk to you about my third tip. So the third tip is the person who was broken up with should be the only one reaching out. So I know that some folks believe in blocking after a breakup, okay? So I'm fine if that's your thing, is to block. Like, if you're breaking up with somebody or somebody broke up with you and you want to block them, go for it. For me, I don't believe in blocking because that person still exists. And so you don't get to erase their existence and pretend like they don't exist. So my thing is, yeah, if I hear from you again, cool. If I don't, cool. But like, you're a person out there. And so I don't want to pretend like you're not there. And in my experience, blocking people in the past, because I used to be a blocker, my experience, blocking people can oftentimes be a control mechanism to try to like get their attention and stuff. And it can, to me, slow the healing process, because you don't know if this person was unblocked, would they reach out to me? Would we have something to talk about? You have to learn, in my opinion, for me, I had to learn to stand on business by myself without needing that block tool. Because in moments of weakness, I would just unblock. And all the work was still yet to be done. So that's my take on blocking. But if you need to block, you need to block. I don't have any judgment there. But whether or not you choose to block, my perspective is that the person who is the breakup-er should leave the person that they broke up with alone. Let them heal. Like, let them go through their process. And like, leave them alone so that they can actually grieve in peace. You're the one that broke up with them. And so I'll give you guys a story from the time that I was broken up with that allows me to be very firm on the fact that I don't mess with the guys that if I break up with them, because I'm letting them go through their process and heal. So my first, the only time that I was broken up with was in high school. So let me do my lips while I tell you guys this story. This is the Fenty Beauty lip liner pencil, and it's in brown out. So I'm gonna do like a kind of coffee colored lip look. So it'll be a brown lip liner with a brownish reddish lip gloss, which is the Fenty Beauty Gloss. This is my favorite color, and it's called Hot Chocolate. Oh yeah, cute. Okay, so hot chocolate lips, that's what we'll call them. So my high school boyfriend, right, he broke up with me, and I think out of the guilt, or out of just feeling like I might have fumbled a good girl, he wouldn't leave me alone. And our fundamental incompatibility in high school, which is just so typical, of course, I was not ready to be sexually active in high school. I was not going to be having sex with boys in high school. It just, like, my dad was put us on game too much to be like, high school boys are gross. You're not going to have pleasure from it. And they're going to go tell all their friends immediately. So I was just like, no, I'm not going to have sex. And he was like, well, I want to have sex. And so he broke up with me, which is fair. That's a fundamental incompatibility, right? So the issue was he never really let me heal or move on, because he was continuously trying to talk to me and, you know, be quote unquote friends. But really, he was just trying to keep me on a leash. He was trying to keep me from being with somebody else. And so that's why I don't feel like it's fair for the breaker to be reaching out, because like you said, you didn't want me, leave me alone. Like Fantasia said, if you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Okay, go ahead and free yourself. So I like this too, because you see that I did not put on the liner perfectly, but I like to smush my lip gloss with the liner because it makes it that not have to be this perfect line. And it still gives you like the robust, like darker outline with the more pink inner line. So that's the way I do it. Okay, I think our liner is, or our concealer is dry enough for me to go ahead and blend that out. So I'll do that. And while I do that, I will just say, closing out the whole concept of letting the person who breaks up be the one to reach out. In my experience, the men always reach back out. Okay. So that's why some people choose to block, because they're like, no, don't reach back out. But I think letting them, take the time they need to reach back out is helpful, because typically when they reach back out, they're going to want to see, are you still standing on business? Is the fundamental incompatibility still there? And in my estimation, I don't believe in getting back together. I'll just be real. Like, I've had men try to get back together with me. And I got back with my ex-husband multiple different times over a 6-year relationship, and it still didn't work out. So in my opinion, I'll never reconcile with somebody again. That unless, obviously circumstances arise, situations will arise in our lives, and we got to be smart about it. But as a general principle, I don't believe in reconciliation. I've tried it. It doesn't work, because whatever the problem was, it's still gonna be a problem. I'm checking out my concealer to see if there's any creasing there. Okay, you can see how it definitely brightens up that area around my eye. And we're gonna blend that out, and then we're also gonna come in with a pressed powder to kind of set the whole situation off. Okay. So it does seem like a lot of concealer, you guys, but at the same time, like, if you wanted to actually make a difference, in my opinion, you have to use a lot of concealer, because otherwise you're just gonna have whatever area you're trying to conceal, it's gonna look the same as before you put the concealer on it, just a little bit lighter. You can see here, like, I'm pretty much blending out those under eye circles. Like, they're not as present at all anymore, but it's because I do use a good amount of concealer and I let it sit on there for a significant period of time. And even though I don't put it on the top, you can see I use enough underneath that it's able to blend out to the top pretty seamlessly. Okay. So we're gonna let that dry right there. Excuse me. We're gonna let it dry out a bit. And I'm gonna put on my bronzer. So we're not gonna do a blush today, because I'm doing this kind of like shimmery, Christmassy look. So I'm just gonna come in with a bronzer for the cheek action. Okay, so back to the story time. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think that's it for step 3. Let them reach out to you, and when they do, just reiterate to yourself and to them why y'all broke up. And if they don't have an explicit explanation for how it's different this time, you gotta let them go, as much as you love somebody. All right. Number 4. Now, this is the key to me for a classy breakup. Only share on socials, on, anything except for like private conversations with friends. only share what you would be comfortable with your ex-partner sharing about you. I just think that's fair. You know, people say like, oh, all's fair in love and war. I just think you should be respectful, you know? I think it's fine to share with people that you guys broke up. Um, Here is the blush and bronzer blender that I use. This is from LYS, Love Yourself. And it also has, you can see it has a little pink on it because I also use it for blush and I did not clean it all the way off. So I'm okay with this having a little pinkishness in it because I'm not putting any blush on, so it's totally fine. It kind of just creates a little. Now I don't do any contouring. Not because I think there's any problem with it, but just because I don't really know how to do it and I don't really feel like it's necessary. The times that I've had contouring done, when I've like gotten my makeup done for events and stuff, I don't really feel like I look like myself. So that's just a personal preference for me. Okay, so yes, not sharing anything that you wouldn't share with other people or that you wouldn't want them sharing with you, right? So I've seen a lot on socials of couples, you know, airing each other's dirty laundry literally and physically. And to be honest with you guys, I just think that it's tacky and it's messy and it's unnecessary. Okay, so I'm gonna come in here with the Tarte creaseless setting powder, and this is in the color Honey. So I actually have used this setting powder in a couple different colors. I had to use a different one during the summer, a different one during the winter. So I'm hoping that this one comes through properly because now I'm starting to transition from my winter skin to my summer skin. It's looking pretty good to me on the camera at least. So this really does help with the creases in terms of the setting powder's consistency. I don't really see, you can see I'm kind of squinting my eyes. There's not a lot of crease there. So that helps a lot. And I also help it to like kind of tamp down a little bit of the shininess from the foundation because it is glowy. So I like a glowiness, but not to the point that it looks greasy, you know. So who knows? It's just my non professional opinion. Okay. So in terms of sharing, right? I think it's fine to me to share that a breakup has occurred, right? I think it's okay to let people know that you're going through a hard time and a heartbreak and such. And I do think that it's fine to, I wouldn't say subliminal your ex, but I think it's fine to post stuff like, oh, he fumbled or blah, 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 blah. My only thing is, for the ladies, don't come at him crazy if he does the same. You know, like if you're gonna subliminal him and write, oh, he fumbled a baddie and oh, single, blah, blah, don't be upset when he comes and does the same. So I'll give you guys an example. The rapper Cash Doll, who I love dearly. Oh, by the way, this mascara is the LYS mascara. You can see that's a brand that I really like. So that I've been using a lot of their products. They work really well for me. They don't irritate my skin. They're long lasting, so I'm a fan of LYS. So basically, Cash Doll broke up with her baby dad after the birth of her daughter. And she came on socials and, you know, was talking about the situation with her baby father and talking about the breakup and all that stuff, right? So then her baby dad, Tracy T, started coming out and speaking his piece. And people were like, oh, he's a bitter baby daddy. He's being sassy. He's a hater, etc., etc. Okay, so Cash Doll pops out with her dude and her new guy, Zadarius Smith. And everybody, all the women are like, yes, amazing, go queen, we love you. So then this past weekend, Tracy T pops out with his new boo, he didn't reveal her face or name or anything like that. And everybody's like, oh, he's just trying to keep up with her, whatever. And it's like, wait, he should be, if she's doing it, he should be able to do it. So in my opinion, if I'm doing something, I'm not going to be angry at my ex for doing the exact same thing. Um, it's a tit for tat situation, right? Like, what are we talking about here? Okay, so we're going to come in with some little finishing touches. I'm not going to do any eyeshadow or anything because I'm feeling like the look is looking cute and complete to me. I'm just going to do some highlighter and I'm going to finish off with a little pair of mini lashes. So I'm doing this little highlighter. This is very like 2010s, but I just can't give it up. I love how it looks in pictures. I love how it makes my nose look so adorbs. I'm coming in with another LYS brush. It's like a big foundation brush that I like to use because it spreads the highlighter really cutely and nicely. You can see I have my little glow going from the bronzer situation. Okay, so the final touch I'm gonna do here is the Ardell Naked Lashes. I'm gonna do the half lashes. I like the half lashes better for me because they don't get in my eyes and bother me all night. So as I get ready to put these on and I get ready to sign off, I'll just say this. You know, breakups suck for everyone. No one is happy during a breakup, right? And so I think it's important to maintain a classiness and a grace in a breakup. I think you have to remember the humanity of the other person. You know, I think that we get really in our feelings because we're heartbroken. In my opinion, a romantic heartbreak is like one of the top painful experiences a human can have. Probably like a top 2 experience. I would say, like, other than the death of a loved one, I, I don't know of any other human experience that's as painful as a romantic breakup. Okay, we're gonna pray to the Lord that this goes well. Okay, I think this is going okay. All right, we're gonna just let that dry and see what happens. So it's like a half lash, because I don't like when the lash goes all the way into my eye. It bothers me. Oh gosh, you guys, this is real life makeup with me because every time is always something with these lashes. I'm giving you the real raw and uncut. Okay, we're gonna just let that go right there. Okay. All right. But I think that it's just a fact that no one enjoys breakups and they're hard for everybody. So the more we can extend grace to our ex-partner, the more likely that we're going to be able to have a graceful breakup. Remember that whatever happened between y'all, any ways that they hurt you was about them. That looks better. And it wasn't about you. Any ways that you hurt them, it actually wasn't because they weren't the ideal partner or they didn't do XYZ. Any shortcoming on your part is about you. Sorry, I don't hate to be blunt. I love to be blunt. You have to take ownership. Everybody has a shadow side everybody has BS, right? And so nobody comes out of these situations perfectly. For me, I think that I usually just tell myself at the start of a breakup, 90 days from now, I'm going to feel so much better. You know, it's not going to necessarily be over, but I'm going to feel a lot better. And in my estimation, at least in my personal experience, it usually takes probably the length of the relationship to fully get over it. You know, I was in my marriage starting in 2014. We separated in 2020. And I didn't really feel ready to date again for real, until this year. So that's like 5 years. And, you know, that's also why it's to me important to uh, leave as soon as you realize it's not going to work, because that minimizes the amount of things that you're going to heal from, and it minimizes the amount of harm that y'all are going to do to each other if the relationship's not going to work out. And it also leaves you open to actually meet the person that's right for you. So if you are going through a breakup, I'm sending you love. Know that you will get through it. It will get better with time. And yeah, this is my finished look for tonight. And I will definitely come back in the future with more get ready with me's and makeup options for y'all. Bye.